huge difference.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, like the video. We got lots to talk about today. Oh my goodness, do we got lots to talk about today.
Check out K-A-N-E.
Biden really screwed up yesterday. This White House is so messed up, man.
And get 2 free My Pillows.
That's right.
You got to use the promo code KANE at checkout. K-A-N-E. It comes in every size too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com.
Hi, my name is Tom.
Welcome, everyone. Yeah, did you guys catch the press conference with this pathetic Secretary of Defense and General Milli Vanilli yesterday? Oh, man. How incompetent. Nobody really asked the real question. Here's the question I would have asked the Secretary of Defense and General Milli Vanilli. Have you lost a war that was already won in Afghanistan? Because that looks like what it's happened to me. What did you miss? You missed everything, man. You have to go back and watch yesterday's show.
4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry
Here we go.
at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida. From Palm Beach
This is a Ron DeSantis shirt, if you're wondering.
1-855-FLA-3782.
Yeah. It says Florida open since the whole time, and that's Ron DeSantis drinking a beer. Remember they gave him a hard time for having a beer at the Super Bowl?
To call the show toll free. 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE 1.
Yes. All righty. Welcome, everyone. It's Thursday. Thankfully, that means tomorrow's Friday and it's the weekend, which I'm really looking forward to the weekend this week. Just because. I mean, the news is really taking its toll on me. Welcome, everyone. It is Thursday, August 19th, 2021. It is 3 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. It is early. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And man, did this White House really screw up yesterday. They had this disastrous press conference with the Secretary of Defense, who is really pathetic, and General Milli Vanilli, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I wish I could get that going. Like other people were calling him General Milli Vanilli. Which is I like Milli Vanilli. Blame It on the Rain, Girl, You Know It's True. I had that album. Well, I had the cassette tape, and when they offered you to be able to go to the record store and return it and get your money back, I kept it. But they were fake. They were fake, just like this general, right? That was a pathetic press conference. We'll talk about that. And the White House strategy yesterday with Biden was so bizarre. I mean, it was so incredibly bizarre. What they were attempting to do, what they were attempting to do at the White House yesterday was change the news cycle. They're trying to change the news cycle, and Biden went. I'm going to play some of the audio as we go on. I'm just going to do a little recap of what happened yesterday. Biden desperately tried to change the news cycle. He tried to pick a fight with Governor DeSantis. Governor who? Right? Remember that? He tried to pick a fight with Governor DeSantis yesterday. Tried to get people to talk about vaccinations and Delta variants and masks in schools. Didn't I tell you yesterday what was going on with Joe and Jill? Is they at the and Jen Psaki, they figure the news cycle, a couple days, something else will come along, and this will be gone, and then we'll get a new news cycle, and it hadn't happened yet. So they tried to start a new news cycle yesterday by picking a fight between DeSantis and Biden. Wait till you hear what DeSantis said. Well, I'm wearing a Ron DeSantis t-shirt today. It's a very good Ron DeSantis t-shirt. Just pathetic. And that press conference yesterday with General Milley and the Secretary of Defense, this Secretary of Defense is the most incompetent Secretary of Defense I've ever seen. There was one point, he was asked a question, the Secretary of Defense. He didn't have an answer. He looked to his left. He was looking for someone, the Pentagon spokesperson, General Milley, to come in and save him. He was lost. He didn't look like a general or Secretary of Defense then. He looked like a weakling. And General Milley, he's very consistent. He threw Trump under the bus when he was commander-in-chief, and yesterday he threw Biden under the bus. General Milley is the most cowardly man that I've ever seen as a general. I've never seen a general that was so cowardly. Not in real life, maybe in a movie or something. So yesterday was just a disaster, and because you can tell that what's going on at the White House right now, that this government, the government of the United States, is less organized than the Taliban. The Taliban, they're having press conferences. Their spokesperson's pretty sharp and is out there giving press conferences and answering things. And what's happening in Afghanistan right now is god-awful. We have tens of thousands of U.S. civilians trapped behind enemy lines. Scott Baio, from Happy Days, Scott Baio follows me on the Twitter. He has for years, Scott Baio. And I like Scott Baio. Scott Baio is awesome. And he retweeted something that someone tweeted yesterday, Sarah Cook on Twitter. Listen to this. The below note went out this afternoon, this was yesterday, to American citizens requesting to be evacuated from Afghanistan. Allen at CBS News reports. It instructs people to come to Karzai International Airport, but says the U.S. government cannot guarantee their safety. Listen, so this is what the government sent out yesterday to the tens of thousands of American citizens, civilians all, that are trapped behind enemy lines. Because remember, the Taliban has circled the airport. We've secured the airport, but nobody can get to the airport. This is what the U.S. government sent out yesterday to the 40,000 American citizens trapped behind enemy lines. They sent out an email. To American citizens, thank you for registering your request to be evacuated from Afghanistan. The U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan has confirmed that an unidentified number of U.S. government-provided flights will begin soon. Please make your way to Hamid Karzai International Airport at this time. Now, the next part is in all caps and bold. Please be advised that the United States government cannot guarantee your security as you make this trip. Well, what the freak is the point? And this idiot Secretary of Defense that we have, who's all concerned about critical race theory and wokeness, there was an interview with him. Greg Kelly played on Monday before all this happened, and he was talking about how he would go into a restaurant out of uniform with his staff, and people would think other people in the group were the commanding general and not him. And he assumed it's because he's black. After seeing him yesterday, I would assume it's because he's not a leader. He's been socially promoted through the ranks. This guy gave out information yesterday, the Secretary of Defense, that I think would be classified information. On a number of occasions, he said, we do not have the capability to go behind Taliban lines and get our people. The Brits are doing it. The Brits have special forces pulling their citizens out. Maybe they can help us. Maybe the Canadians can help us again, like they did in Tehran. He said multiple times that we do not have the ability to go from the airport, go behind Taliban lines, and rescue American civilians. My goodness, what the heck? Come to the airport if you can make it. Now, I saw some video and still photographs in Kabul this morning, And I'm sorry I saw it, but they put it up, on the internet. I'm not going to be watching this stuff anymore because it's too upsetting. The Taliban have begun killing people. Women. There's a dead woman in the street. They had a child covered in blood. I don't know if that was the blood of him or his parents. I don't know. I mean, so the slaughters have begun in the streets of Kabul. And we have as many as 40,000 U.S. citizens trapped behind enemy lines. At this point, I think you can consider them hostages. The Taliban has circled the airport, but we've secured the airport, but no one can get in. My goodness. And what's Biden doing in the White House? They're trying to pick a fight with Ron DeSantis so they can get a new news cycle going. This is some real twisted stuff is going on here, and it's scary, it's dangerous. Now, Nigel Farage tweeted something yesterday, and I thought it was very brilliant and very insightful. Let me pull this up. I don't do this often. I did retweet this, but I also took a screenshot because I didn't want it to get buried in my tweets, because I tweet all day. If you follow me on Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter, you'll get all my show prep, everything I talk about, and a lot of things I never get to here on the radio, as well as my podcast. I tweet everything. Why did Biden hand over Afghanistan to the Taliban and the Chinese? I know we've all been wondering this all week. Now, there's a lot of humanitarian disasters going on and everything, so we haven't had time to really sit and think and talk about it. But Nigel Farage, who, MAGA, we love Nigel Farage, right? Remember when he was at Trump rallies with President Trump? Oh, man, Nigel Farage comes out, people go wild. So Nigel Farage yesterday tweeted this, which I thought was so interesting. This is Nigel Farage. So the West, now listen to this very carefully. Why did Biden hand over Afghanistan to the Taliban and the Chinese? Listen to this, Nigel Farage's tweet. So the West wants to go green with electric cars. To do that, you need lithium for the batteries. That's true, right? We all know that. Well, this next part, I did not know. Nigel Farage tweeted this. Afghanistan has by far the largest lithium deposits in the world, and Biden has just handed them over to China. Wow. Wow. Now, yeah. And Biden, like Newsom, is doing this push to have no gasoline cars by whatever year they've named. Is it possible? I want to throw this out to you guys and share with me your thoughts. I want to hear if I'm becoming like an Art Bell of politics here. Am I getting black helicopter here on this? Men in black here? Is it possible that Biden handed Afghanistan over as a payoff that the Chinese gave him for their lithium deposits, the largest lithium deposits in the world, which are a necessary component for the batteries of electric vehicles and hybrids as well? Am I paranoid? Am I conspiracy nut? Am I in the X-Files here? Let me know. I think that came from Nigel Farage. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's K-A-N-E and the number 1. 888-GO-CANE-1. And numerically, that's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. When I read that tweet yesterday afternoon from Nigel Farage, I was like, whoa. No one was talking about this tweet, but I retweeted it and I took a screenshot because I think that's what's going on here. Makes sense to me. Let's take our first break of this Thursday morning. We'll come back. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. I've been jibber-jabbering here for a while. I've got much more to get to, of course. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Brian Craig here. You've heard us talk about the great low prices Friendly Tire has.
Be right back, guys. I got to get some water. I didn't bring any water in this morning.
Listen to one of our listeners talk about their experience at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hey, Brian. My name
name is Mike. Just wanted to call and say thank you. I had a problem with my car. I had a flat tire. It was going down really quick. I'm in Coral Springs. I had to go somewhere close by. They couldn't really fix it. So I remember you guys are talking about Friendly Mike at Friendly Tires. So I said, listen, Mike, I need a couple of tires. I told him my son. He goes, I got them. I go, I'll see you tomorrow. They were really cheap. I go over there, and Mike
Steve
said,
Kane Show.
tires do you want to replace? They look relatively new.
Hold on.
I said, they are. I just got a big hole in that one. And they said they couldn't be fixed. He goes, pull your vehicle in. I pulled the vehicle in. He took the tire off. He pulled out the plug that the guy in Coral Springs put in there, and he heat shielded it. He kind of patched it or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. And he goes, you don't need any tires. He goes, I fixed that one. Give me $20. But the guy in Coral Springs wanted $500 for 2 tires. I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Give Mike at Friendly Tire a call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Don't waste time going anywhere else. You will never find prices as low as Friendly Tire in Margate.
President Donald Trump here. When Melania and I put our heads down at night, it's on a My Pillow. And when we order My Pillows, we always use the best promo code Kane at checkout at mypillow.com. That's Kane for huge savings. That's promo code Kane at mypillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeart.
Yes. All right, we are back. 17 minutes after 6. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Ian, good morning.
Hello, bro.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Well, you know, they're murdering women in the streets of Kabul right now, but other than that, I guess it's okay.
So, anyways, I caught you just now. I just tuned in. I tune in every morning. I wanted I was thinking about what you were ending the last break with about Afghanistan and Biden giving Afghanistan to China. The only thing that I see with that situation is Turkey wants to also move into Afghanistan, and Russia wants a piece of it too. And Turkey doesn't get along with China because Turkey's Muslim, and China doesn't get along with the Muslims. Hence, you know, the Uyghurs and that whole thing. So I think that even if that was the case, China would have to deal with other powers like Turkey and Russia coming in and wanting.
I don't know. You're getting too soap opera-y for me. I mean, I know that a few weeks ago, Biden came out and announced, like Newsom in California did, but I forgot the year. By the year 20 whatever the hell, all cars will be electric. And I know that over the weekend, I saw pictures of the Chinese government leaders with leaders of the Taliban. And now we find out that China now is going to have control of the world's largest lithium deposits in Afghanistan. And most things, especially when it comes to Biden, are all about the money.
Right.
Yeah.
I think what's going to end up happening is that when China, and if China moves in on Afghanistan, he's going to be met with other forces too there as well.
There's never going to be peace in Afghanistan. Afghanistan's been at war for 5,000 years, okay? So there's always going to be, that's one of the problems Biden has, as he's trying to create some new news cycle by picking a fight with Ron DeSantis over school closings and masks and things. There's no, it's an attempt at one. It's a pathetic attempt at one. The Taliban are going to be doing something every day or two, even when things settle down. It's going to be in the news constantly for years to come. So this isn't something that's going to be gone by the next news cycle. Even if we got the 40,000 Americans that are trapped behind enemy lines right now in Afghanistan, next week the Taliban would do something. They would stone a woman or do something.
And I think about this too. What if, for whatever reason, because they say, "Oh, the Taliban's been peaceful and they've been working with the U.S."
I saw a dead woman in the street that they shot yesterday. I don't know.
Right. But you know how it's being portrayed as like the Taliban isn't going as hard as they could and so on. What happens if U.S. troops start to die defending these airports or trying to get these Americans out? What if more Americans die, and what if American troops die? What?
With Biden in office, nothing. With Biden in office, nothing.
I think that's.
I mean, remember the last time Biden was in office, he was vice president. Remember what happened? Obama was the president; he was just the vice president. But remember, the Iranians captured a U.S. patrol boat and a crew, and the woke snowflake commanding officer knelt down, and the men and had his sailors bend down and with their hands behind their heads, being held at gunpoint by Iranian soldiers and naval personnel. I mean, this is what we're dealing with here. Right, exactly. Maybe what we got to do is start offering Biden money, because that seems to be his motivator, money. See, this is the thing with Biden. He's 78, he's feeble, he's checked out, he knows he's not running again. He doesn't care about public opinion. Most people in public office are obsessed with public opinion. This guy is not, because he knows this is his last rodeo.
Well, he's also cognitively not functioning. I mean, the guy doesn't know what up from down, So even if it was about money or wasn't about money, the point is he's so checked out. It doesn't matter what happens.
He's checked out, and he doesn't care about public opinion.
At least Kamala Harris, if she was president, I'm not saying she would do any better job, and this isn't like a defense for her, but at least she would she's her cognitive enough to be able to process and be like.
Well, Kamala, even if she became the president, even if Biden was forced out or stepped aside and she became the president, it would be a disaster, because the disaster's already happened. I mean, Trump is the only person that would have a prayer of getting us out of this situation, because he's the only one that's got the testicles to take these people. But Kamala at least would care about public opinion polls, and that would be some motivating factor to her to save someone's life.
She might want to actually, yeah, exactly. She might listen to advisors and say, because you had mentioned on your podcast about how the intelligence community was mad at Biden out of Afghanistan. Yeah. And Biden's on his own thing. So then I'm thinking, if Kamala was there, not saying she'd do a good job, because she's just as crazy, whatever,
and stupid.
Maybe she would listen. Yeah, stupid, exactly. But at least maybe she would listen to some advisors and say, hey, maybe we should do it like this to get to just at least. Wow.
I learned something about Kamala a couple weeks ago that shocked me. She's only 5'1".
You know what? You've said that before.
Yeah.
Unless someone else did, but yeah. No, I heard that. I thought you had said that.
Yeah, and I'm only 5'7". I'm not like a jolly green giant here, but that really surprised me. Yeah, and we have not had a president under 5'11". In the modern era. And Biden, I don't know how tall Biden is today, but at some point in his life, he was at least 5'11". He's probably shrunk. So we go before pre-shrinkage, pre-shrinkage. But, yeah, she's a little person. I didn't realize she was only 5'1".
So do they give her a stepping stool when she goes to?
Well, I think it's like with Tom Cruise, right? Tom Cruise is, and I think they cast short politicians to be around here. I've met William Shatner a few times. Captain Kirk, Shatner and I are the same height. I couldn't believe it. I was looking at him in the eyes. I was like, "You're Captain Kirk?" I thought I'd be looking up at you. So they cast shorter. How do you think George Takei got on Star Trek? They cast shorter people. He's Asian, and that's what they do with Kamala. But anyway, we're sidetracked. But Kamala. Tomorrow Kamala's supposed to fly off to Vietnam. Now, for her to go to Vietnam with all the Saigon comparisons is insane. So if I were her, I wouldn't go. I would refuse to go.
This is the deep state. This is the globalists. They know this Afghanistan is like Saigon, and this is their slap in the.
It's worse.
This is their. Yeah, they're trolling us with that. That's what it is. That's not
her going to Vietnam.
Vietnam, because think about it, right? Of all places, you know what I mean. When right now Afghanistan's being compared to Saigon, she goes to Saigon. It's a slap in the face, is what it is.
Well, and if she's going to Vietnam, Saigon is now called Ho Chi Minh City. But if she goes to Vietnam, she's got to go to Saigon. So these are people you would think would care about optics. So she's either being sent there to humiliate her, or what you said, trolling us. I mean, that's just insanity.
Yeah, it's terrible, and this is what we have to deal with when it comes to fraudulent elections.
She might go and tour the U.S. Embassy while she's over there. Now, listen, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour break. Our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. I want to tell you guys about Friendly Tire in Margate. Friendly Tire in Margate. I found Friendly Tire in Margate, I don't know, about 10 or 12 years ago. I used to have a Jeep Wrangler with the big tires, four-wheel drive, and I always wanted a Jeep Wrangler. Do not buy one. The tops on a Jeep Wrangler are a nuisance. A nuisance. It was so bad getting those tops. It's easy to get the top down. Good luck getting it back up. I was so pissed. From the moment I got that car home, I was pissed. But, But anyway, any of you guys have Jeep Wranglers? Oh, my goodness. And you don't want it with a hard top. But anyway, I had the big four-wheel drive tires, which were really cool until I needed to buy new tires. And I, called around. This was like 10, 12 years ago. Called around. And the tires were just outrageously expensive. And I found Friendly Tire in Margate. And I went over there and I bought used tires for my Jeep Wrangler. He has thousands of used tires in stock, starting at just $30 on most sizes. And they're very nice, very high quality used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate. And the first few times I went to Friendly Tire in Margate, I bought used tires. And I didn't know Mike personally then. I just go in, buy my tires. And I would go in, and Friendly Mike would say, do you want new or used? And I would always say used because I knew how much new tires cost. I never even bothered to ask him the price of new tires. And then I took my wife's car in once, and he said, do you want new or used? And I said, well, what's the price on the new tires? And he gave me a price, and it blew my mind. And here's what it is. This is absolutely amazing. The lowest price I could find around town for new tires on my wife's car, $165. That was the lowest price I could find. $165. At Friendly Tire in Margate, just $75 a tire. Brand new, out the door and on the road. That's a $90 savings per tire. And Friendly Tire, he doesn't charge you to mount the tire. He doesn't charge you to mount it, balance it, or dispose of your old tires. The price he gives you is out the door and on the road. I mean, that's amazing. And I've been buying new tires there ever since because the prices are so very low. Friendly Tire in Margate, you will not find prices on tires this low anywhere. And hey, listen, used tires are okay too. I bought a used tire over there a couple times recently for spares, okay? On one of my cars, I went over there and got a spare. I got a spare for my daughter, and I bought a used tire for a spare. But you know what? I drove around on used tires from Friendly Tire for a long time, and the tires are very good as well. They're high-quality used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. Give Friendly Mike a call. He will give you a quote right over the phone, okay? Here's the number, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. We'll take a break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past...
Jacqueline, $20 super sticker. Thank you. Everyone thank Jacqueline.
That a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurses station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything to help you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. There's a column by Miranda Devine in the New York Post today, which I'm going to share. I don't really read opinion columns too much, but she's got a lot of information in here, other than great commentary, that I thought I'd share with you because it's a column. It's about Afghanistan and Biden, but it gives us a lot of information about this disaster when Biden was in that Camp David situation room alone with the Zoom call thing going on. Here's the headline. It's in today's New York Post. Damning pick of a weak leader. Now listen to this carefully because there's good information here. What possessed the White House to tweet out a photo of Joe Biden all alone in a conference room at Camp David as Kabul fell to the Taliban Sunday? Isolated, feeble, indecisive. That is the lasting image of the President of the United States, Biden, as his nation suffered the worst self-inflicted humiliation of its history. In a polo shirt, a hippie bracelet on his left wrist, and his right hand covering his mouth, it was like during the bin Laden raid, Hillary, the vacationing president looked every bit his 78 years as he sat alone at a vast table set for 18 absent advisors. He stared, it's early, people. He stared at a distant screen showing American officials in 8 locations conducting a video conference on the unfolding catastrophe in Afghanistan. None of the people on the screen seemed to address him directly. They were talking amongst themselves or just reading off a script, I guess. The commander-in-chief was an observer, not a leader. Everything was wrong with the photo. Now listen to this. This is insanity. Even the world clocks on the wall in front of Biden were inaccurate, having not been adjusted for daylight savings time, a sloppy detail unbefitting a superpower. The official White House image projected weakness at a dangerous time when the eyes of the world are judging the extent of America's decline. Oh my goodness. What they saw was an old man on his own, his botched conceit in ruins at his feet. Only 7 months in office, Biden has taken to inviting historians into the White House to coach him on how to pre-burnish his legacy. Really? The Afghan timetable was tailor-made for the history books, a political set piece in which he would be lauded as the first president who ended the endless war on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Instead, the Taliban will raise their flag at the $1 billion American embassy in Kabul on 9/11. This is going to be pretty twisted, and you know what? The worldwide media will be there. So, and I'll get back to this. This is amazing. They didn't even have the clocks were set on the wrong time, and he's supposed to be conducting operations, Biden. Okay, so the Taliban are going to raise their new flag over the U.S. Embassy in Kabul on September 11th. They may do it to coincide with the first plane hitting the building. Their PR guy is, he's a good PR guy for them. I mean, he seems to be on the ball. That is going to be their Iwo Jima moment for the Taliban. This is so messed up, man. You know, when you have a president who's corrupt and is in the mental health condition he is in, it is dangerous. There were people dead today that were alive a couple days ago because of him. And he doesn't give a damn. He's trying to pick a fight with DeSantis to change the media narrative. It took 3 days for the White House to blast out a photo that at least gave the appearance of a presidential command. It showed Biden in the Situation Room Wednesday, a black mask dangling off his ear as he sat at the head of a table, appearing to speak to his assembled military and national security team. Vice President Kamala Harris sat to his right, Secretary of State Blinken, National Security Advisor Sullivan alongside and opposite her, focused their eyes squarely on the boss, not Springsteen. Springsteen, as liberal and as stupid as he is, would be better than this boss, Biden. But Harris had her head turned slightly away from Biden and her gaze fixed down at the table. 2 fingers of her left hand were pressed to her temple, blocking any peripheral view of President Biden. Now, this is a column I'm reading from in the New York Post. There was a story I shared yesterday that said in this meeting, Kamala made comments to Biden 3 times about things, and he ignored her all 3 times. It was the first time Kamala Harris had been seen in 6 days, and her body language spoke volumes. Harris was conspicuously absent during Biden's teleprompter remarks about Afghanistan Monday when he blamed everyone but himself. After the speech, President Biden refused to answer questions, shouted by the waiting press, and went back to Camp David for his vacation, leaving the rest of his administration to get on with the mess he had left them. He seemed not to comprehend that when a presidential candidate hides in a basement, that might be smart politics, but when the President of the United States does it, that is a dereliction of duty. No doubt. Kamala Harris was not by his side when he returned briefly to the White House from vacation Wednesday afternoon for a bizarre performance in front of a teleprompter in the East Room. And this is when he talked about his favorite topic, COVID-19, and threatening governors who oppose mask mandates. We're not going to sit by as governors try to block and intimidate educators protecting our children, the president said. And then it goes on and on and on. After the next break, I'm going to play some audio of Biden yesterday. What do you think is going on with Biden? Is it what Nigel Farage is talking about, that the Chinese bought him off for the lithium battery deposits in Afghanistan? Is he completely incompetent and is just so checked out that this happened? He did order everyone out. You know, when I watched the press conference with Milley and the defense secretary yesterday, General Milley said at least twice, maybe 3 or 4 times, but at least twice I can remember off the top of my head, he blamed Biden. Not kind of indirectly, but he said that the president gave the order to remove the troops back in April. They did that. They were left with a small number, and they've done the best they can with the number of troops they've been allowed to have hang over. He says that's why they gave up the airport. He said we didn't have enough troops after the president's order to hold the airport and protect the embassy, so we made a decision to give up the air base and protect the embassy, which is sadly the right decision to make when you have that So he blamed Biden for everything. When I saw the pictures of the dead woman in the street this morning before I came in to the radio station, I was like, oh man, why did I have to see that? It's one of those things you can't unsee. This is not about news cycles and politics at this point. That's why a lot of people say, we don't want Kamala in because she's so bad. At least she's not suffering from age-related dementia issues. I would rather have Kamala as the president right now than Joe Biden. It would be better than this. No one's running things now. And what we have right now is Joe and Jill Biden. What they're trying to do more than anything is show everyone they're the boss, that he's the president and in charge, and that he's competent. So he's not open to advice from anyone. And you know what? The situation in Afghanistan is so bad, it can't be fixed. They can make the best can be made of a bad situation. But a war that we won was lost this weekend. And that can't be undone. But I'll tell you this, I would do whatever it took to get our Americans out. And I'll tell you another thing. I would run an airstrike over our embassy and collapse it. There's no way in hell I would let the Taliban raise a Taliban flag over the U.S. embassy on September 11th. It would not be allowed to happen. But it's going to happen because this president is going to let it happen. Scary stuff. Scary stuff, people. No getting around it. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. My name's Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
So I came into contact with somebody who tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to Any Lab Test Now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a swab stuck down my nose into my brain. It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow. They also tested me for the antibodies, and I haven't been exposed. So do what I did. Go over to Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They give great rates for Steve Kane listeners, and tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers and Mike Lindell. He's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have the my pillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So you're wearing the MyPillow, My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow pillow and the MyPillow mattress topper and the.
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
My wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows with it. So it's great. Well, that's awesome. Order your MyPillow, My Slippers, 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. Or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. WWNN.
All right, 47 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. Oh, man. So Biden, let me go through some of this. This is Biden with George Stephanopoulos. I want to play first. If you're on hold, stand by. But this was really pathetic. Now, keep in mind, George Stephanopoulos is not just a part of the mainstream media. He's a Clintonista. He was Governor Clinton's spokesperson during the 92 presidential campaign. He went on to be White House spokesman for Bill Clinton, a senior advisor for Bill Clinton. He's a hardcore liberal. He brings Biden on. Listen to this.
When you look at what's happened over the last week, was it a failure of intelligence, planning,
Steve Kane Show,
execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a fair. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me back it, put it another way.
Okay, now I'll tell you this. Anyone who calls the Taliban the Taliban or Taliban, when they say tally at the beginning, watch out. That's always a liberal. It's the Taliban. That's the American way to say it, the Taliban. Not the tally. When someone says tally, you got to watch out. But anyway, Stephanopoulos, he's here to help Biden. And Biden, he even screwed up when he's being given a lifeline.
What's happened over the last week? Was it a failure of intelligence, planning, execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a fair. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me back it, put it another way. When you had the government of Afghanistan, the leader of that government getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country, when you saw the significant collapse of the Afghan troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off. That was, that's what happened. That's simply what happened.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly.
Wow.
We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this...
See, that was 4 or 5 days ago, man. Come on, man. We're in a new news cycle now, man. That was people falling off the planes 4 or 5 days ago. It's a new world now. Okay, that's pretty twisted. But then the other thing is, they're trying to change the mission. Not the 40,000 Americans trapped behind enemy lines behind the Taliban. This started with the Secretary of Defense, finished up with the Commander-in-Chief yesterday, President Biden. They're trying to change the mission. The mission is to secure an airport now that no one can get to. And we've done that. Sick.
Afghanistan. The leader of that government getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country. When you saw the significant collapse of the
now keep in mind, this president, he bugged out to Camp David twice this week. Okay? What kind of symbolism was that with the clock set at the wrong times?
Troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off. That was, that's what happened. That's simply what happened.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
That was 4 or 5 days ago, man. Move on. New news cycle, Stephanopoulos.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport. And we did.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens.
Having a real man that knows what the hell he's doing, that's how it happens. Come on, man. That's 4 or 5 days ago, man. New news cycle. Let me try to pick a fight with Governor DeSantis. Wow. That's a really sick man right there. All right, let's go to the phones. There's only one opening at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I will take the calls in the order in which they were received. Good morning. You're on the radio.
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You're right. You're right about this.
Steve Kane Show.
You got to have a real man that knows
Steve
what
Kane
he's
Show.
doing to get this stuff done and done right. And that's the thing. We had the right policy intact. What?
Biden came into office with everything perfect. The country was set up perfect. The border was perfect. And Afghanistan was perfect as well. And now we have a complete collapse. But hey, that was 4 or 5 days ago, man. Forget about those people falling off the airplanes.
Right, and you mentioned
we're supposed to get, people are supposed to get over those deaths. He's always talking about the death of his son. It was a sad thing. I feel for the man. He lost his son. He hasn't gotten over that. That was years ago. But the people of Afghanistan and the people of this country, we're supposed to get over, and by the way, it was only like 2 or 3 days, but we're supposed to get over people falling off of our airplanes in just 2 days? Come on, man.
I mean, and you got to give it to, I'm going to call him what the people and friends called him Mr. Stephanopoulos, but that's...
Mr. Stephanopoulos from Sesame Street?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They called him on Friends, but anyway, you got to give it to him. He asked some pretty tough questions, That wasn't...
Oh, yeah, he did.
That wasn't a powder puff interview, but, you asked about the Chinese or whatever paying this president off, or is he just incompetent? Why can't he be both? Why can't they be off to remain incompetent?
Yeah, it's true. You can be corrupt and incompetent, sure, absolutely.
Sure, I mean that's the thing. I mean, if I'm Chinese, if I'm Xi and the Chinese, I mean, why not spend $100 million, $200 million, $300 million to pay this guy off to make it look good for me,
Yeah. All right, Mike in Louisiana, take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Andrea. What's up?
So I did not watch the interview because I just can't stand another second.
Well, I have to. It's part of my job.
And I understand and I appreciate that you take that proverbial bullet.
It's not fun. It's painful to watch.
I will tell you this, Brian. Start to notice this. People aren't calling him President Biden anymore. They're calling him Mr. Biden. Start noticing that.
Well, that's done because the reason that's done is the media are showing their disrespect of him and how he's handled things, the mainstream media. And remember, the deep state run the mainstream media, and Stephanopoulos and all of them are deep state. I mean, that's just the way it is. And that interview there, that clip I play, I'm not going to play more of the Stephanopoulos interview. Just that clip is basically all they've released. The full interview was not aired yet. But the look on Stephanopoulos' face when he asked him about the people falling from the airplanes, and Biden says, "Come on, man, that was 4 or 5 days ago." Stephanopoulos was like, whoa, he was shocked by that response.
Anybody is shocked by anything this guy does, because it actually...
No, how can this not shock you? I'm so, everyone always is never shocked by anything. We have 40,000 Americans, civilians, trapped behind enemy lines in Afghanistan. They're surrounded. The Taliban has surrounded the airport. They've blocked anyone from being able to transport. The Taliban have killed people in the streets, including women, in the streets since I left the air yesterday morning, and I am very surprised at this. And I'll tell you, General Milley and the Secretary of Defense were two of the most incompetent military leaders I've ever seen yesterday at that press conference. I've never seen anything like it.
But Milley lied again about how many troops were there. He lied again. And let me tell you something. If this is the best we've got, we're done. We're done.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can, and I'll tell you, the news is so sick right now at night, because I can't watch the people murdered. The last time I saw women dead in the streets like this, like in Kabul right now, is during that uprising back. I guess it was the same week Michael Jackson died, because I remember I was in D.C. at the time when the Iranians were killed the woman in the streets in Tehran. I don't know if you guys remember that. And I just see a dead woman lying on the street with a child in a man's arms covered in blood. I turned on Bachelor in Paradise. I had to get away from it, and Bachelor in Paradise is pretty hot this season, and it's a good escapism from the chaos of the world that Joe Biden has given us right now. I'm not kidding. It's bad. This is bad, and I am very surprised at how bad things are right now. I'm very surprised.
I'm beyond. I'm just to the point where, like, I just have no words for it. But
disgust.
I'm beyond disgusted.
Oh, you're like it's like a numb shockness that sometimes people will do things that are so outrageous that you don't even have a response for it. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah, that can happen.
And speaking of responses, where are all these liberals? You know why? Because this is their January 6th moment. All these liberals defending Biden, they just had their quote-unquote January 6th insurrection moment. That's why you're not getting a lot of liberal callers, and that's why there's not a lot of liberal trolls in the YouTube.
Oh, this week in the YouTube live stream, I don't think I've seen more than one or two liberal. Usually, we're bombarded by Democrat liberal trolls. Even the trolls are in hiding this week.
January 6th moment that played out live on...
What do you mean January 6th? Because January 6th, they want to blame us for it in Trump. We got nothing to do with that. Trump's got nothing to do with that. But they have everything to do with this. They have everything to do with this.
You can't... You say it all the time. You can't have an insurrection without insurrectionists.
Correct. Yes.
Their guy has just...
Well, Greg Kelly on Newsmax was the first person to point this out this week, and he did it on Twitter. But what the Taliban did, that is an insurrection. They went in armed and to the seat of government, and they ran the government off, and they took over the country. See, the Taliban were not supposed to become the government of Afghanistan. The elected government and the president, who's the president that fled with $190 million in cash, his daughter, and I'm sure he has money stocked all over the place already. On top of that, his daughter lives like a queen in New York City. I was seeing some stories in the Post about her. They were still supposed to be running things after the drawdown. So the Taliban were not supposed to be there renaming the country and raising the flag over the U.S. Embassy on 9/11 and everything. This is what the Taliban have done. That is an insurrection.
You're not getting a lot of liberal calls, and I would like to say to
We're not going to.
Who have called in previously, enjoy the suck.
The only liberals that have called in this week, because things are so bad, are drunks and mental patients.
Well, exactly. You know why? Because there's no defending them.
Yeah, notice Greg 2 is on hiatus. Notice Greg 2 all of a sudden. You know, and those, yeah, where are these people? Yeah, where are they? The Wheezies and all these people, they're under rocks. They're under rocks.
I'm just going to throw on my tinfoil hat for a moment, if you just let me entertain them.
Yeah, real quick, though, because I got a break.
So Biden is now in a really bad position. They're flying. Now, Kamala, they're putting her in the most egregious position ever. This is my tinfoil hat thing. It wouldn't surprise me if something happened to Miss Harris.
All right, this just, you know, what is this? You know, what is it with these callers? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. You know, I don't know what it is. Andrea's a good caller, but she, you know, I stopped her before she did it. I'm not even going to comment. All right. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. All right, listen. 1 hour is down. One hour is down. 2 to go. I should have broke on time. We will break. It's 2 minutes after 7. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, Brian Craig here.
Be right back, guys.
Steve Kane Show. For coronavirus testing, stop by any lab test now of Coral Springs and any lab test now of Boca. One of our longtime sponsors, Dr. Mitch Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, went to any lab test now of Boca for coronavirus testing this weekend, and he called in live on the radio to share his experience.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to any lab test now on Saturday to get COVID-19 tested. And it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had a test. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously. So we called up any lab test now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took us back, did our test. We sat in the waiting room for less than 15 minutes. They brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And
no, there's certain, Andrea didn't say anything wrong, but she was about to. There's certain things you just can't say. No, I wasn't pissed. I'm not pissed. There's certain things you can't say. There are certain things you cannot say.
Doctor recommended, it was really kind of cool, and it was wonderful, and it was easy. And listen, to that end, go over and get tested. This is the test you want to get. It tells you...
You guys, this is not your living room. We're on a whole bunch of radio stations. Over the course of 24 hours, over 500,000 people listen to this show.
Located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. It's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441. Give them a call, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the The Steve Kane Show.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the sole authority today, 954-597-7060.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show.
I dumped out of her before she said what she was going to say. And it's
Cocaine 1. That's 1-888 Cocaine 1. And now here's Steve Kane.
All right. Oh my goodness. All right. If you missed the first hour, you missed a lot, people. That's why we have an overnight rebroadcast. That's why we upload the show to YouTube. Oh man. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm waiting for the delay to build back up yet again. I've used the dump button more times this week than I have in a long time. I tell you, I should basically just stand over here by the dump button, just ready to hit the dump button. I'm telling you, I've done more dumping this week. The dumping on the delay, not any other kind of dumping, than I've done in a long time. All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. It's 7:07. It's Thursday morning. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Steve will be back today. He had a tooth pulled yesterday, so I don't know what kind of condition he's going to be in. He might be a little doped up from the pain medication that Dr. Gupta gave him for it. I don't know. We'll find out. So you won't want to miss that. It might be a lot of fun. Oh man. Welcome back. Okay, so what Joe Biden did yesterday was one of the sickest, saddest things a president of the United States has ever done, and I'm including the Clinton era with the Lewinsky-Fornegate mess. The Taliban have surrounded the airport. The Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs had a disastrous press conference yesterday, followed up by an interview with the President of the United States, Joe Biden, that was sick, twisted, and sadistic. We're going to go through all this. I'm going to recap what I've already gone over in hour number 1 and sprinkle in as we go the new stuff. We have as many as 40,000 United States citizens trapped behind enemy lines as we speak to you right now. The Taliban has surrounded the airport. The Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and Joe Biden have said that the mission is now to secure the airport. What, the airport that no one can get to? The Secretary of Defense yesterday, I believe, gave out during the press conference top secret classified information that you're not supposed to be giving out. He was asked yesterday if we have the ability to send in the United States military behind enemy lines, that's the Taliban line around the airport, to get our citizens, our Americans out. And he said on 3 at least occasions during the press conference yesterday, no, we do not have the capability to help our trapped U.S. citizens. But if they can get to the airport, we'll fly them out. The United States government sent an email to American citizens trapped behind enemy Taliban lines yesterday. I'm not kidding. I found this from Scott Baio. Scott Baio on Twitter tweeted this out. Things are. I like Scott Baio a lot. I'm a fan. He follows me on the Twitter. But I got to go to Chachi to find out what's going on. We don't get it from Psaki, and we don't get it from the commander-in-chief. Scott Baio tweeted out the email that the U.S. government sent to U.S. citizens trapped behind enemy lines in Afghanistan. To American citizens, thank you for registering your request to be evacuated from Afghanistan. The U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan has confirmed that an undefined number of U.S. government-provided flights will begin soon. Please make your way to Hamid Karzai International Airport at this time. Then, at the bottom, in bold and in all caps, please be advised that the United States government cannot guarantee your security as you make this trip. The Taliban are murdering civilians in the streets. There's photographs and video of dead women and children covered in blood in the streets of Kabul. If you can get through enemy lines, we'll fly you out. What the hell? Look at what happened in Tehran. Oh, Scott Baio's awesome, by the way. But it shouldn't be him that's getting the word out about what's going on in Kabul. He's retired. He's in Florida now. Scott Baio lives in Florida now. Things are bad. They're beyond bad. This is Saigon times infinity, what's going on. You know, Saigon, there's similarities to the fall, okay? There's similarities to that. But the human rights situation is a million times worse. By the time they were in Saigon, we had the Americans out. The only thing that was left in Saigon really were a small number of embassy staffers, but the chaos was with the South Vietnamese that had worked with us, that they were trying to get out. It was bad, but we had the Americans out. We have 40,000 Americans trapped behind enemy lines. And the Taliban has surrounded the airport so that they cannot get out. Right now, this is not an exaggeration what I'm telling you, and it's been going on now. This is day 2 of this. Remember Walter Cronkite? America held hostage? I would like Eric Bolling or Greg Kelly or Chris Salcedo over on Newsmax to pick up the torch from Walter Cronkite. We got to figure out what day it is. Is it the day that they took the... I guess it would be starting at the day that the Taliban surrounded the airport. We are in day 3 of America held hostage. That was a very powerful thing Walter Cronkite did. I was a little kid. I was in the 3rd grade when that happened, but I remember it clearly. Remember people putting candles up in their windows and tying the ribbons on the trees and everything else? Remember all those days? Day 3, America held hostage. 40,000 American civilians behind enemy lines. And what Biden did yesterday was the sickest, most twisted thing I have seen a president ever do. I'm going to take this break on time, and then I'm going to tell you what that was and share it with you. Okay, so don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe.
On the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place that had a lower price. They wanted $800 for the brakes. And that advertisement came on for Champagne. I live in Western Tamarack. I said, let me take a drive up there. Well, I was almost blown over how friendly, honest, old school these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously won $800. He said, well, you need to take your power steering fluid, and Ed, the owner, put the car up on the lift, pulled the wheels, because you don't need brakes, and I about fell over.
Wow, well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were
Steve Kane Show.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser, because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other day over in Tamarack at Crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive. Ed, who's the owner, is a listener of the program. They come very, very highly recommended. So I appreciate you calling in and telling us the good story. Now, Champagne Automotive, they're in Boca off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, 16 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. We're back. I forgot something in the last hour, too. In the last segment. So we have 40,000 Americans trapped behind enemy lines. It is a fair description to say that we have 40,000 American hostages right now. 40,000 American hostages. As many as. Could be less, but it could be as many as. American hostage. If the Taliban has surrounded the airport and no one can get to the airport, they're being held hostage. Also, the Taliban has given an ultimatum to Joe Biden. Think about this. We've got the Taliban giving ultimatums to the President of the United States. The Taliban told Biden to have U.S. forces out by September 11th, and they are going to raise the Taliban flag over our $1 billion U.S. embassy on September 11th. They're going to be reading the names at Ground Zero while the Taliban are raising the flag up on our embassy. And I'm telling you, this press guy that the Taliban have, this guy, he knows how to message in the modern era. It would not surprise me if they raise the flag on the building at the same time that the first plane hit the tower. They told Biden to get him out. So Biden yesterday, I was telling you guys yesterday, what Jen Psaki, she came back from vacation, but she had, over the weekend, she went on vacation. She was going to take the whole week off. She was forced back. Biden was going to take the whole week off. He was forced back. And what the White House's plan was to write out the news cycle. Oh, Americans have a short attention span. This is the TikTok generation. In a day or two, there'll be something new. The news cycle will change, and this will be forgotten. This news cycle ain't changing. Even if we got the American hostages back and everything was settled with that, the Taliban are going to be acting up constantly. And they're going to be in the news for years to come with their abuses and human rights violations. So Wednesday comes around and the new news cycle had not begun yet. The White House, they go into a panic, and what do? They try to create a new news cycle. So Biden comes out and addresses the nation, and he doesn't mention Afghanistan. He starts talking about the Delta variant in school. Let me play what he did. He's trying to create a new news cycle by picking a fight with Governor Ron DeSantis. Listen to this. This is Biden yesterday.
Directing the Secretary of Education, an educator himself, to take additional steps to protect our children. This includes using all of his oversight authorities and legal action, if appropriate, against governors who are trying to block and intimidate local school officials and educators. And as I said before, if you aren't going to fight COVID-19, at least get out of the way of everyone else who's trying. You know, we're not going to sit by as governors try to block and intimidate educators protecting our children. For example, if a governor wants to cut the pay of a hardworking education leader who requires masks in a classroom, the money from the American Rescue Plan can be used to pay that person's salary, 100%. I'm going to say a lot more about children in schools next week. But as we head into the school year, remember this.
Okay, remember this, yeah. Yeah, I guess, is that when he put the middle finger up to the cameras? He also, before that, Biden personally called school board leaders in Broward County and another Florida county, telling them to defy the order of Governor DeSantis. He talked about that in that same speech. So we're not going to talk about mask mandates, Delta variants, and vaccinations. Don't worry. That's what Biden wants you to do. He tried to create a new news cycle. He attacks DeSantis. He undermines him by calling Florida school boards. And he's thinking, well, DeSantis last week when I attacked DeSantis, he came out and attacked me, and the media loved the feud, and it'll get a new news cycle. So they go to DeSantis, and DeSantis says the borders collapsed and there's bloodshed in Afghanistan, and he's talking about masks? What's wrong with him? DeSantis said yesterday. So what the White House did, while this chaos is going on, is try to create a new news cycle, and it failed miserably. Nancy Pelosi goes on TV yesterday. Nancy Pelosi goes on TV yesterday, and listen to this.
Should the Biden administration have had a stronger U.S. military presence for the transition?
Well, first may I just say that I commend the president for the action that he took. It was strong, it was decisive, and it was the right thing to do.
Which president is that? The president of the Taliban or of the United States? She's talking about Afghanistan. There are people. Did you see the video? This was really the video of the guys falling off the airplanes. That's like September 11th. The people trapped in the rooms on fire, jumping out of the trade towers. Did you see the picture of the guy who got stuck in the door of the airplane and his lower body was hanging out? And she's praising Biden. Let me play more of it. Let me see if she said anything else to praise Biden.
Stronger U.S. military presence for the transition.
Well, first may I just say that I commend the president for the action that he took.
Oh.
It was strong, it was decisive, and it was the right thing to do. We should have been out of Afghanistan a while back. But now we're, unfortunately, one of the possibilities was that it would be in disarray as it is.
Okay, now this dried up old prune, okay, with her, how much did her pints of ice cream cost in her $50,000 refrigerator that she had during the pandemic? Anybody remember? She thinks, Nancy Pelosi, because she's the first person with a vagina to be Speaker of the House, she thinks that she's a historical figure, a feminist icon that women should look up to, right? A mother was murdered in the street yesterday by the Taliban. I think it was because she had her burqa on incorrectly. These are women outside the gates of the airport begging troops to let them in. Okay, now it's hard to hear because there's screaming and they have an accent, and English is their third or fourth language. The women are yelling, "The Taliban are coming for me." So Nancy, who thinks she's a role model to women because she's the first woman to become Speaker of the House. I like calling her Madam Speaker. She likes that too, because when I think of Madam and the House, I think of a whorehouse, and that's what they are, okay, in Congress. But women are, right now, the largest, I don't even know how to describe this, the largest number of rapes at a single time on the planet since the Second World War is taking place right now. What's going on in Afghanistan, every woman is being raped in Afghanistan where the Taliban have taken control. It's like Genghis Khan time over there. Chinese did some things like this during the Second World War, rape of Nanjing, but this is the largest number of and they're being raped without mercy over and over again. And Nancy Pelosi, who thinks she's a feminist icon, go to another fundraiser with Harvey Weinstein, with Hillary, okay? She's a disgusting person. And she doesn't get called out on it. Oh, well, we've told them that they got to have women at the table. They do have women at the table to pass them around to rape them, Pelosi, okay? I'm sorry for the graphic discussions. I know some of you are taking the kids to school. So in their desperate attempt to change the news cycle from the chaos in Afghanistan, Biden does a sit-down interview with Clintonista George Stephanopoulos. The whole interview has not been released. They only released a clip, which I'm going to play for you right now. This is George Stephanopoulos with President Biden yesterday. Listen to this crap. This is, and again, I got to tell you, before I play this, I used this example yesterday with a Biden comment, and I'm going to use it again because it applies. This is new and it applies. The last time I heard someone, the last time I saw a man on television so uncaring about the death, the murder, the rape of women was when BTK was in front of the judge confessing his crimes for the plea deal. And I'm not kidding. Listen to this. This is Clintonista. You know, my blood pressure is really high right now. I'm so upset. And I'm not kidding. I can tell. I can feel my heart. My blood pressure is always high when you're on the air doing a radio show. And I can feel my heart beating. My blood pressure is really, I know, I'm serious. I'm not being figurative. I can tell my pulse is really fast. If I had a blood pressure machine here right now, I would take it. But that would just make my blood pressure higher. So I'm going to have to do some, I don't know, some meditation during the break, but I can't do that. So let me get to this. So left wing, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. I can tell. I'm feeling my pulse right now, and my heart is beating a mile a minute. I got myself all worked up. So left-wing hack journalist George Stephanopoulos, who worked for Bill Clinton, you know, and this guy, he's a pig too, George Stephanopoulos. You know, he was the campaign spokesperson during Clinton's run for president in '92, went on to work for him in the White House. I read George Stephanopoulos' book. It's called All Too Human when he left the White House. Do you know what his primary job was on the Clinton campaign, George Stephanopoulos? He worked in a small group. He had two co-workers, James Carville and Hillary Clinton. And their job was to smear any woman who came forward with a claim against Governor Clinton. So that great, you know, perfect liberal. This is Stephanopoulos with Biden.
When you look at what's happened over the last week, was it a failure of intelligence, planning, execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a failure. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me put it another way. When you had the government of Afghanistan, the leader of that government getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country.
What about when we had the leader of the United States go on vacation to Camp David during this? How about that, Biden? But anyway, let me try to meditate while I'm listening to the calm, soothing sounds of a failed president.
Planning, execution, or judgment?
Look, I don't think it was a failure. Look, it was a simple choice, George. When the Taliban, let me put it another way. When you had the government of Afghanistan,
well, water help. I'm going to try.
Getting in a plane and taking off and going to another country. When you saw the significant collapse of the Afghan troops we had trained, up to 300,000 of them, just leaving their equipment and taking off.
And they left our equipment, Biden. But he goes on. Listen, it gets really sick after this.
Taking off. That was, you know, I'm not. That's what happened. That's simply what happened.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
What I thought was we have to gain control of this. We have to move this more quickly. We have to move in a way in which we can take control of that airport.
Oh my goodness, this is like listening to the Bundy tapes, okay? So Stephanopoulos asks him about the people that fell off the airplane in flight to their death. Come on, man, that was 4 or 5 days ago, man. Come on, lots happened since then. New news cycle, mass, Delta variant. That is a sick, twisted man. Oh my goodness. And then this other thing is, then he gets into this. This is what the defense secretary, Secretary Wokeness and General Milli Vanilli yesterday, they've changed the objective. The mission in Afghanistan is to secure an airport now. Oh yeah, we've secured the airport. That's the mission. Really, I thought it was to free the people of Afghanistan 20 years ago. I didn't realize after 9/11, we went into Afghanistan to secure an airport that no one can get into because the enemy has surrounded the airport. It's like Butch and Sundance in Bolivia are soldiers at the airport right now. There's one opening on the board. I was not joking when I said my pulse is racing. It is very, very fast right now, like I ran a marathon. Everything goes to crap when you turn 50. Everything goes to hell. I turned 50, and all of a sudden, I got all these problems. All right, we're going to take a break. There's one opening on the board. We are going to go to the phones after the break, so stand by. Steve Kane is back today. But I want to caution you this. Steve had a tooth pulled yesterday. I know that's painful. So Steve is probably on pain medication for his tooth pulled yesterday. So you're going to get, so you may have a pain-induced Steve Kane and a high blood pressure suffering Brian here after the break. So you guys on the phones, it's going to be fun. Okay, we'll take a break. It's 33 minutes after the hour. Oh, man. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO, Kane 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The hot weather, it's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
On the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going
I can feel my heart.
Big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we
but I got 90 minutes to go here.
Sure that,
so.
Your air conditioning does leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe.
At her house on Wednesday of this week.
Everyone like the video that's already subscribed, and everyone click that notification bell too. Steve Kane Show.
Just wants to tell you how our experience was.
Good morning.
Hey.
I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all,
oh man,
the people that came out, his crew were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old dust, come in and put in all new dust.
I'm going to get some more water. I'll be right back, guys, okay?
Work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost could be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new dust. They took out the metal dust that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove.
Well, pride doesn't help. I did have a lot of coffee this morning.
And I got everything for less than what I thought.
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm feeling my heart just to feel my pulse.
Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic. It pays for itself because what it does, it
let me
cools off your attic, keeps that hot degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at stevekaneshow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855.
My pulse is about 85 beats a minute. I don't know. It seems faster than that. I just took my pulse. All right. We are back. Only one opening on the board. Those of you on hold, stand by. And from the Laporta Contracting Steve Kane Radio Studio in Cooper City, I think we have Steve today. You with us?
The one and only Mr. Laporta. How are you doing today?
Oh, man. How you... Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. How is the tooth, Steve?
Better than I am. No, I gotta tell you.
Are you doped up on pain medications? Oh, great.
Not to say anything really outrageous.
Well, you'll just be like our callers I've been dumping all week.
You've done a great job.
Well, my pulse is about... I just took it twice. My pulse is about... No, I'm not. My pulse is about 93 beats a minute. 93 beats a minute.
I can... how bad is that?
Well, that's high for me, but... I can feel my heart pumping in my chest, and you're doped up on pain medications from your dental work. So, you know, this is this is good. It could be worse. We could be an American behind enemy lines in Kabul.
I want to thank Dr. Gupta. You saved me yesterday. There's nothing worse than a throbbing toothache, and he is painless.
You know, it's what's wrong with your teeth? Because Dr. Gupta has always said that you have great teeth. What's the problem?
Well, one of them wasn't as great as the rest.
Oh. Okay, so he yanked it out?
Back to this thing, which is important.
Mm.
It seems to me what they do. You remember when in the early days when we were together, and I would give you lessons, teach you about sales and stuff like that. For the important thing in a sales transaction is what we in sales call the close.
Yes. Yeah. And when you take their money.
Right. And there is a technique called assuming the close. For example, just give an example of it. I'm in a place trying to buy a refrigerator, and the guys made the presentation and all that, and now it's all the formalities are out of the way. Assuming the close means I come in at the end and I say, okay, would you rather have me deliver this to you on Friday or Saturday? I narrow them down to 2 choices, assuming, that is of course, assuming that they buy the refrigerator.
Okay.
If they don't buy the refrigerator, you've done something wrong. Close the deal.
Do we have a new appliance sponsor? I'm lost where you're going, Steve.
Don't tell me that. Please don't tell me.
No. Okay.
You know this stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm trying to pick out where it's relevant to the situation that's going on right now. Okay.
It's relevant to the situation here because what Biden's people did, they came up with a plan that would be fine if all our people were inside the embassy and if...
or at the airport, getting flown out, yeah.
Right. So in other words, if we were there and getting ready to take the plane, get ready to take off, then we can say, this is what we're going to do now that it's over. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not closed.
Well, what we have depends on who you are. If you're the Taliban, now the Taliban. Now, if you're on hold, we're going to go to the phones in just a moment. And so this is the situation right now. Okay, we have 40,000 Americans stuck behind enemy lines. The Taliban have surrounded the airport. No, it is for the Taliban. The Taliban have closed the deal. They got the refrigerator, Steve, and they told Biden. They've surrounded the airport. They've told Biden to have U.S. forces out by 9/11 and that they're raising the flag on the U.S. Embassy on September 11th for symbolism. So the Taliban have closed the deal, Steve, and Biden has screwed it up. We're in big trouble. We're in big like you and I are personally in trouble right now at this moment in time. He's in a lot of trouble. And the Taliban have begun murdering civilians, including women, in the streets of Kabul. And Biden's trying to change the news cycle into Delta variants and school masks in Florida, and it was a massive, epic fail.
Extraordinary.
He can't even sell Stephanopoulos the refrigerator. You want to go to the phones? Okay. My pulse is still very, very high. I'm drinking lots of water. So, yeah. I don't know, Steve. You seem a bit loopy from the medication. So I can't leave you solo. No, I can't leave you solo right now. But and you can't control the phones from your studio. I got to control the phones, so I can't go anywhere. I am stuck here on the front lines until 9. But I'm going to take these calls. You're on the radio. Good morning,
Brian.
Hey, Agostino.
Hey, Steve. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good.
Steve is feeling no pain.
Okay, I'm kind of worried about old Brian there.
Yeah.
We'll get through till 9 o'clock, and then we'll.
Yes, we've been through worse.
No.
We've been through worse.
Brian, I got to tell you something. I watched Biden the other day doing all that speaking, and I was just calling him a liar, just like you were.
Pants on fire.
Yeah.
Nose as long as a telephone wire. Well, let me get to this though, Agostino, because listen. I mentioned this at 6, and this is Nigel Farage tweeted something out yesterday that is just astounding. I retweeted this. I took a screen grab of it because I wanted to keep this. The question is, with Afghanistan, why did Biden go against the advice of both the intelligence community and the military leaders and order a complete U.S. withdrawal in April that led to this collapse? Was it incompetence? Was it by design? Well, Nigel Farage tweeted out something yesterday. Now, remember, about 2 weeks ago, Joe Biden announced an initiative to not have no cars powered by gasoline by the year 2000 something or other. And everyone knows that he's on the take with the Chinese, right? Listen to this. Nigel Farage tweeted this yesterday. So the West wants to go green with electric cars. To do that, you need lithium for the batteries. Now, this next part, I did not know. I learned something. This is Nigel Farage. Afghanistan has by far the largest lithium deposits in the world, and Biden has just handed them over to China. And China, of course, is the first country to recognize the government of the Taliban. So the question is, did he withdraw everyone to give the lithium to his employers? China. It makes sense to me, knowing the history of Biden.
If that's the case, he's in big trouble.
I want to tell you something. I believe that Jill Biden's going to divorce him.
Why? She's running the country.
I mean, if he gets impeached or...
Let me tell you something. Joe Biden's a scummy man. He has been his whole life. Joe Biden has put up with she's put up with as much as Hillary put up with Bill with this guy. She's not cutting and running.
Even if he's impeached?
Yeah. Who's going to impeach him? Pelosi? Pelosi was just praising him yesterday and commending what a great job he did in Afghanistan. All right. Hey, listen, Agostino. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Joey from Joe, right?
Hey, Joey.
How are you? Hang in there, Steve.
I'll be fine by tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 dates and hearings are the 2 things that'll bring you to my knees, I'll tell you that. I know what you went through. But anyway, watching Fox.
No, let me tell you. Let me before you get to the Fox thing, because I want to talk about Dr. Gupta. You know, Steve went to Dr. Gupta yesterday, and Dr. Gupta is well known for not just being a maestro when it comes to dentistry and incredibly low prices, but he's also it's what do they call this? Painless dentistry. Yeah. Painless dentistry, and there is no bigger coward when it comes to the dentist than Steve. But since we met Dr. Gupta, you've got a dental problem, you're there. I mean, it's just because it's totally painless. But anyway, what'd you see on Fox?
So they revealed something this morning. Another agency that President Trump created, which was undone, which, you know, everything that Trump did, Biden undid. It was called the Contingency Emergency Crisis Bureau, which was a bureau that was set up for if and when, you know, to arrange the departure if and when it was going to happen while Trump was in office. He didn't institute anything because he left office, but this bureau was dismantled in June. So what there was alluded to on Fox was, no wonder there was no plan, because the government agency that Trump created to coordinate this was dismantled, like everything else that Trump.
And also, President Trump said yesterday. The military equipment that the Afghan army had, in particular the Black Hawk helicopters and the tanks, that these are the latest designs of both our tanks and the newest updated Black Hawks with new technology that is now in the hands of China and Russia, being examined to find weaknesses in both our tanks and our Black Hawk helicopters.
You want to give away your military hardware, you might as well give away the best.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was very interesting that this part of this handling or undoing that Trump had in place to probably prevent this. And then there was a general on, so I forget his name, but
all right, let me jump in here and ask a question to move the conversation along. What are the chances of Joe Biden surviving the?
I hate to say this. It kills me to say this, but because of the power of the Democrats right now, I think he's gonna slide.
Yeah, tomorrow, now slow down right there. Slow down, Steve. Tomorrow, this is hard to believe. Tomorrow, Kamala Harris leaves Washington for Vietnam. She's going to Saigon. I'm not kidding. She's going to Saigon. I mean, these people are really sticking their finger up. She's going to Southeast Asia. She's going to Southeast Asia with a stop in Vietnam, and the only place you go in Vietnam it's called Ho Chi Minh City now, but it's Saigon.
Question related to the last question: how much of when you examine the question of Joe Biden's you believe it is in any way contingent upon the number of our allies that die in the battle or not?
Well, our allies, unlike us, are getting their people out. The Brits have sent in special forces to pull out their civilians. Ours are sitting ducks behind enemy lines. So our allies have gotten their people out. It's only the United States that has left tens of thousands of citizens behind. So our allies are doing okay. We're the ones that are screwed. Yeah, I mean, right, yeah.
Losses we have, especially of Americans, will that determine the reaction of the U.S. government?
Nothing's going to get Biden to react. Well, let's think about, we got a break, Steve, so let's think about it during the break. We got to take our last break. We're running late. Hey, caller, thanks so much for your call. It's 10 minutes before 8. We'll take our last break of the second hour and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare
Steve Kane Show.
recognizes the importance of preventative foot care
Hold
and
on.
has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name brand
Nicoletta
shoes.
Trumpy Bear.
Stylish. They'll
Thank you for the
provide
super sticker. Everyone
width
thank
and extra
Nicoletta
depth to
Trumpy Bear for the
stop
super
diabetic
sticker.
foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at
Steve Kane Show.
thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Do you think you've
Hold
come in
on.
contact with someone who has
Hold on.
coronavirus?
You're not on the air yet. Hold
Steve
on.
Kane's wife
Hold
Lori
on.
did, and she went to any lab test now
Steve
in
Kane
Coral
Show.
Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
Hold on.
So I came into contact with somebody who tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to any lab test now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours.
I'm trying to just relax during the breaks because I'm not kidding about I know my blood pressure is high. My pulse is racing. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow. They also tested me for the antibodies, and I haven't been exposed. So do what I did. Go over to any lab test now of Coral Springs. They give great rates for Steve Kane listeners, and tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right. We're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. Only one opening on the board at 1-888-GO. Kane 1. You want to go back to the phone, Steve? We're pretty busy. In an hour. See, we're both. Hey. When I talked to you this morning, I warned people you're a little loopy today. I've got my pulse is racing. So, which one of us is going to drop first during the show? I don't know. Now, before drop first, you want me to drop first? Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Before we go to the phones, though, I want to share something that I shared in the first hour that is so it's got to be shared again because we have a full board of calls. So stand by, people, please. This is insane. There's an article in the New York Post from Miranda Devine. And it's an opinion piece about Biden at Camp David when he was alone in that room with the Zoom call, pretending to run the country. Listen to this commentary, and when we do get some information that's not being reported, okay, in this. So this is Miranda Devine's op-ed in the New York Post today. What possessed the White House to tweet out a photo of Joe Biden all alone in a conference room at Camp David as Kabul fell to the Taliban Sunday? Isolated, feeble, indecisive. That is the lasting image of the President of the United States as his nation suffered the worst self-inflicted humiliation of its history. In a polo shirt, a hippie bracelet on his left wrist, and his right hand covering his mouth, the vacationing president looked every bit his 78 years as he sat alone at a vast table set for 18 absent advisors. He stared at a distant screen showing American officials in 8 locations conducting a video conference on the unfolding catastrophe in Afghanistan. None of the people on the screen seemed to address him directly. They were talking amongst themselves. The commander-in-chief was an observer, not a leader. Everything was wrong with the photo. Listen to this part. Even the world clocks on the wall in front of Biden were inaccurate, having not been adjusted to daylight savings time, a sloppy detail unbefitting a superpower. Also, so even the clocks were on the wrong time in the room, and he's trying to run this thing. And it was reported yesterday that on 3 occasions in that meeting, Kamala addressed Biden with her opinions, and he ignored her all 3 times in the conversation. So we're in trouble, people. This is some scary stuff. Now let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian and Steve.
What?
Morning. Tooth is really good.
Oh, he's the best. They don't make contenders like this.
Yeah, I've been dealing with a wisdom for 3 weeks, and I'm finally going to the dentist.
Let me tell you, Gary, Dr. Gupta, he's not only the best, his prices are so low, it would probably be less expensive for you to drive to Florida from Wisconsin and have him do the dental work than it would be to get it done in Wisconsin. That's how good his prices are.
I would agree with that. If I was probably able to get a loan down there, but then I'd probably have to wait another couple days, and I'm having this thing pulled out tomorrow. And it is a wisdom, so...
Oh, my goodness.
Really fighting off the pain as much as...
Well, let's get to the pain of Afghanistan and our president.
Well, the one thing with Afghanistan, and I did some research, believe it or not, Afghanistan is sitting on over $1 trillion worth of lithium.
Yeah.
So that's why I think, in one way, China is so enthralled of trying to get into there so they can control all that lithium.
Steve Kane Show.
That's going to be for us, the U.S. It's
Hold
going
on.
to supposedly have all these electric cars by whatever year it's supposed to be more dependent and enrich China that much more because...
That's right. That's what we were talking about earlier. Listen, what Joe Biden cares about more than anything is getting paid. And he just handed over gold deposits and the planet's largest lithium supply to the Chinese. The lithium is what you need for the electric and hybrid car batteries. That's a big deal.
And so Joe Biden, you might as well say, just got paid off for that because that's how he just is. But letting all this stuff go, if this would have been President Trump would have been in a 3rd and possibly a 4th impeachment because if this would have happened under his watch.
And you know what? Let me tell you something. If this happened under Trump's watch, we would be upset about it. We'd be criticized. This wouldn't be happening if Trump was president. Trump yesterday, I played the interview with Hannity yesterday, so I'm not going to play it again. I played it twice yesterday because it was so good. But he told the Taliban leader, he said, "I know what village you're from, and if you step out of line, it's going to get targeted heavy." And he told him the name of the village. He talked about this to Hannity. There's no fear with Biden. They have no fear of the Taliban.
Like, this incompetence of him is just, I don't even have a vocabulary word to describe it, Brian.
Well, is it incompetence? His presidency? Will his presidency survive? We lost the connection. Listen, it's 8 o'clock, so we're going to take our top of the hour break on time. There is one opening on the board where we lost Wisconsin Gary. So if you're on hold, stand by. We will go to the phones after the break. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It's 8 o'clock. We'll be back with the third and final hour of today's program after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week. And we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation. And she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts. It's extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought it was.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him, 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. The Steve Kane 2022 MAGA Cruise is a go. Leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now, here's Steve.
All right. Third hour has begun, 3 minutes after 8. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is back today. And we'll go right back to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, Brian. It's Sarah.
Oh, hey, Sarah in Colorado. Hey, Sarah.
Sure. Hey, so my thoughts have been racing too. I know what y'all been, this is just crazy. Anyway, my thinking is, where is AOC? Where is Omar? Where's Rashid? Where's all these people?
Well, Omar, I don't know about AOC, but Omar and Rashid are high-fiving of the Taliban victory. That's where they are.
Right. And so, and I think the other thing we're missing is that, you remember that Hunter Biden lost his laptop?
Again.
Says, and I think
part of that, if it leaked out like it did, then it got a hold of somehow to the Taliban. Of course, Obama's behind that too.
Mm-hmm.
He let these people out.
Yeah. I mean, this Taliban spokesperson they have, he, as far as spokespeople go, he's pretty sharp. He understands media. Like they had asked him the other day about, the Taliban had a press conference, and they asked the Taliban spokesperson about freedom of speech under the Taliban. He said, talk to Facebook about freedom of speech. It was a pretty sharp response. And this is one of the guys that Obama let out of Gitmo in exchange for that traitor Bergdahl. Yeah.
Let me ask you another question. Hold on. Let me ask you another question. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked before, but I'm going to change it a little bit. Do you think if this ends in mass to the U.S., do you think that Biden can...
No.
Okay. No. So we've established a relationship between outcome and where Biden's Biden.
I mean, these you've dumped so many of them because they do not own this at all. They own this because they think that supporting him for all this time, and all that kind of stuff, it's just...
Well, he's got, in Democrat circles, he's got more support than you think. I'm going to play this clip. This is a Democrat congressman. His name is Jared Golden. And he gave a radio interview yesterday, and the host had asked him about the symbolism of the collapse of the U.S. Embassy. This is a Democrat member of Congress. His name is Jared Golden yesterday.
The thought that the American embassy there is going to be occupied by the Taliban on 9/11, 2021, the 20th anniversary. What emotions go through your mind when you hear that?
It's a building.
It's just a building, and he laughs. So liberals are in another on it. I know it's just a building.
It's just a building, unless.
Well, the Taliban started killing people in the streets yesterday.
Yeah. I think, personally, when that really starts, like it is right now, because where are these people going? They're not able to get across. That video, that young lady, and she's just like crying, and you see the soldiers right there.
Well, this other audio, let me play this again. It's hard to understand because the woman's accent, but I'll tell you what she says. This is a woman in a burqa at the gate of the airport, screaming in tears through the fence to the U.S. Army soldiers that are there. She's telling the Taliban are coming for me, and this airport, they're not letting her in. And you see the video of women that are handing their children over to U.S. soldiers, and the women aren't able to go with them. This is Saigon times 20 million. And by the time Saigon fell, we had all of our people out already. A few people at the embassy. We have 40,000 Americans behind enemy lines right now, and the Taliban has the airport surrounded.
So my question is to any of those Biden supporters that claim to know what's going on or whatever, I want to know, my question is, you own this, right? And that's how I want to know. So.
Well, the only liberals we've heard from on the phone today are mental patients and drunks. All week. If you notice that, Andrea was talking about this earlier, the liberals this week have been, they've been hiding. They've been under rocks. They haven't been, even the trolls in the YouTube live chat room are in hiding. Things are bad. Things are bad. All right, Sarah, take care. Thanks so much for the call. Sarah from Colorado, who goes with us on our cruises. And, man, I wish the cruise was leaving tomorrow, Friday, because what's going on, Steve, in the news is really difficult to watch. It really is. I'm watching murders in the streets is what I'm watching, and it's not good. It's not good. And I was online this morning right before I left. I said, let me take one last look at the news, and it's a big regret. It's probably why my blood pressure is high right now. They had a dead woman in the street, and someone was holding a child that I assume was hers that was covered in blood that the Taliban had just killed. And it's one of those things you can't unsee, you know. And I don't need to see that anymore. I'll tell you that. But this the press conference with the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs yesterday was frightening. It was scary.
The leader of the free world,
Steve Kane Show.
Totally out of touch with.
Well, the Secretary of Defense was asked some pretty tough questions by the press, and he didn't have answers, and this was live, and he looked to his left, he looked to the right, he was looking for someone on his staff to come and save him. He didn't know, you know, he's basically, the Secretary of Defense, who's obsessed with critical race theory, not Milley, the black Secretary of Defense, they're not gonna do that. Well, I don't know if fairies come down and save the world. I don't know what'll happen either. I mean, what the Taliban have done in Kabul is they have established that it is their city.
It hasn't been done yet.
What hasn't been done yet? They're not letting our people out without, you know, they have what they've done with the Taliban. They're not going to. What the Taliban have done, okay? They've surrounded the airport. Our guys at the airport are surrounded like Butch and Sundance in Bolivia. There are tens of thousands of U.S. citizens trapped behind enemy lines, plus the tens of thousands of Afghanis that have been working with us all these years. And the Taliban set up a perimeter surrounding the airport. They're not letting anybody through. So basically what they have are as many as 40,000 American hostages. The Taliban. Why? And what is Biden? If you believe me, they're watching the news. Biden is just trying to change the narrative to another topic about masks and the Delta variant and DeSantis and masks in schools and things like this. He's not even concerned with. He attacked DeSantis yesterday. He didn't even have a word to say about Afghanistan in his press event yesterday. Biden. So he's done with Afghanistan.
His people were out of the air.
Yeah. Well, listen. Let's go back to the phones. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Good morning. You're on the radio. Oh, there we go. Good morning. You're on the. Yeah, great. That was our first liberal of the day. Yeah, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Morning, conservative.
Oh yes, Doug. No, you don't. Don't revisit. Don't revisit. Just talk about the topic of today. Oh my goodness.
20 years we're there, and President Trump was getting people out slowly. All of a sudden, it's a mass exodus. We have to get the hell out so fast. Something like, I think Nigel probably hit the nail on the head.
Well, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. By the way, thanks for the call. Guy's been on hold an hour and 15 minutes. That was a short call. Here's the deal, okay? The Taliban were not supposed to be the new government. The Trump plan was to leave the Afghan government as it was, okay? The Taliban wasn't supposed to come in and be the new government and have a new flag and change the name of the country. What the Taliban have done is had a successful insurrection in Afghanistan. It wasn't just that the army collapsed, the government collapsed. The government in Afghanistan before Saturday or Sunday was our ally. So the government was supposed to remain in place. This is the biggest catastrophe in American history. This is bigger than Vietnam's fall. Much bigger. And when Vietnam fell, the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, weren't setting up terror cells to attack Americans. The Taliban put out a call yesterday and said all Al-Qaeda affiliates are welcome yesterday. So this is really bad, man, but we're going to take a break and take more calls after the break to discuss how bad it really is. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
My name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and
Steve Kane Show.
We have been in the
Hey, Barry.
construction industry
Steve Kane Show.
since 1982. We are state of Florida.
Yeah, turn off the radio. Hold on.
And general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Hi, this is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care. I just love Dr. Gupta. I've been seeing him for around 3 years. He always has time for me. He never does unnecessary work, and his prices are very affordable. And if you need implants, go see him because he has the best prices around. Let me give you the number. Write it down. It's 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633, BrightonDentalCare.com. He's just the best.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for www.
All right, we are back, and it's time to check in with attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Good morning, Barry. How's it going today? Okay, doing all right. My blood pressure is a little high, so it kind of reminds me, you know, you got to keep an eye on make sure your documents are updated. Exactly.
We had two great workshops on Tuesday, and I think a lot of people got some great information. And really, the great thing about these is that it helps people who may have been procrastinating get the education they need to make some decisions to go ahead and get their planning done. It's amazing how many people procrastinate when it comes to this type of planning, and we get it, that we're talking about end-of-life issues, disability issues, incapacity. It's not the kind of thing that we really want to focus on, but when we get the education, then it gets us in a position where we can do what we need to do to protect our family, to protect our assets, and to protect ourselves. So,
you know, and attorney Barry Siegel and the Siegel Law Group, they will if you already have a retirement plan in place, attorney Barry Siegel recommends that you have it reviewed every 3 years because things change, right? Family members come and go, and new properties and new things are added and lost and sold. You need to update your documents, and attorney Barry Siegel will review at no charge your retirement planning documents that you already have if you've done it. And it's always a free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. When you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, you can give them a call, toll free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. Attorney Barry Siegel will finish out the week tomorrow. All right, take care. You know, yesterday with this press conference with General Milley and the Secretary of Defense, Milley said, he said there was nothing that I or anyone else saw that indicated the collapse of Afghanistan and the Army would happen in 11 days. You know, well, how many days did they think it was going to take? I mean, you know, this is really, I've never seen anything this bad. I mean, this is every catastrophe that the United States has had, like Somalia, Vietnam. You put them all together, they don't equal this. And this sick interview that Biden did with Stephanopoulos, where Stephanopoulos asks him about the guys falling out of the airplanes, and he said, that was 4 or 5 days ago, man. You know, like it would give me a... No, he said it. He said it. I'm not kidding. And you know, and it was crazy. Now, I do have one thing that's unrelated I wanted to share with you guys. And I'm sharing this because school's going back. You know, it's not that teachers have not been liberal over the years. We've always had liberal teachers, especially college professors. And what's happened, though, now, if you notice what's going on in the public school system, teachers are more than just liberal. They've become activist, liberal activist. And I'm going to play some audio of a school teacher. One of her students saw that the teacher was being inappropriate, and the student recorded what was going on in the classroom. And I want to share this with you. This is a school teacher talking to her students. Listen. In the classroom, during class.
I hate Donald Trump. I'm going to say it. I don't care what y'all think. Trump sucks. He's a sexual predator. He's a literal moron. Go tattle on me to the freaking admin. They don't give a crap. No, he is not. What are you talking about? Turn off the Fox News. Your parents listen to Fox News? This is my classroom, and if you guys are going to put me at risk, you're going to hear about it. Because I have to be here. I don't have to be happy about the fact that there's kids coming in here with their variants that could possibly get me or my family sick. That's rude. And I'm not going to pretend like it's not. So don't ask me. You have all correction. That's damn right. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to lie. If you ask me a legit question, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. Because y'all need to hear the truth.
Hey, I 100% agree. You have an opinion. I'm also disappointed.
You don't have to be, though. That's the thing. Most of y'all parents are dumber than you. I'm going to say that out loud. My parents are freaking dumb. Okay? And the minute I figured that out, the world opens up. You don't have to do everything your parents say, and you don't have to believe everything your parents believe, because most likely you're smarter than them.
I 110% disagree. My parents are geniuses. I'm the idiot of the family. Like 110%.
Can I believe what I want to say? You can believe what you want to believe, but keep it quiet in here, because I'm probably going to make fun of you. Okay, I'll just say this. Here are the topics that you probably want to avoid in this class. Politics, which you went into. You asked me. It's kind of fun. Oh, I could go off on it the whole entire class period if you want me to. But I'm not going, so you're taking care of it. If you don't believe in climate change, get the hell out. I'll be dead. Okay? That's pathetic that you think that. You're the problem with the world. Okay? If you're a homophobe, get out. Thank you. Because I am the GSA faculty advisor. I love gay people. All LGBTQIA+, mother. If you don't like it, get out. If I hear you say a damn word against any of them, I will open a can. And I will make your life a living hell. And they know it. If you say shiz to any LGBTQ kid in this school, I will hear about it, and you will be in trouble.
Oh boy, there's our teachers that are, you know, she's a high school teacher in Mitt Romney's Utah. This video is going viral. I'm sure you'll see it on TV yesterday. But it used to be kids only got their minds polluted in college. And now they've moved it to like grade school, middle school, and high school, where you're getting like that college indoctrination and the liberalism that you didn't get before. And this one's pretty scary. By the way, she said the F word in that. I just cut it out towards the end. The students' mother effers in the classroom, and this is that's America's teachers. It's changed a little bit since I was in school, Steve. You know what? I don't know how, but it sounds bizarre, but I think it's more of the norm than we realize. You know, it's more the norm. And, you know, this is going to go this is already going viral online. I know it'll be on Fox today. It's got to be on Fox today. I'm sure it'll be on Newsmax and One American News as well. Now, I understand Afghanistan's a big, important issue, but, you know, school's going back in session, and kids, everything, it's interesting how the kids are challenging her. You know, young people are more conservative than they've ever been before. And you know, and I thought it was when you couldn't hear it in the audio I just played because they're in the background. I could hear it when I got the audio together. The students are MAGA. The high school students are Trump people, and they're defending Trump and MAGA while this teacher is going on this bizarre, lunatic left-wing rant against the parents. I thought it was fascinating. Now listen, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. When we come back, there'll be much more to talk about. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Steve, of course, is back, and we'll be back after this break.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Good. Hold on.
Online, friendlytire.net. Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel.
Thank you, Freddy Krueger.
Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
I'm just trying to relax a little bit. I got a half an hour to go here, and my blood pressure is like through the roof right now. I can tell. I can tell.
FLA 3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for help.
Okie dokie, we are back. 29 minutes to go, and I haven't collapsed yet, Steve. So, now, yeah, you were off the last couple days because your dental thing, but I just wanted to catch up to speed. Now, we were talking the other day, last week, Mike Lindell was attacked last week in South Dakota, and we got details on what happened. And what happened, and they're from Mike Lindell, which I'm going to play for you in just a moment. Mike Lindell was targeted by a very sophisticated Antifa operation to try to get him on video to discredit him. And let me play this. This is Mike Lindell. He gave an interview the other day detailing what happened to him. This is what happened to him at the hotel. Listen.
Kendra and I walk and we got
Steve Kane Show.
And I've been in bad places, private sorts in my throat. I've had guns to my head. I owned bar for 13 years, and you had to read people. Sure. And I walked. We went back. We turned back. I go, come on, we gotta go. And two guys kind of ran down the thing by the elevator there. And he goes, can I get a picture? But the way he was running, it wasn't like a fan. It was like just something different. And so I took the picture, and then this other guy came up out of nowhere, and he goes, I want one too. And he put his arm up, and he stuck his thing. It was so much pressure. I mean, and I just knew if I did anything, there was something more coming. And he jammed it in to where it was just piercing pain. And I'm just going, and I acted like, that I didn't feel anything. And I'm sitting there like that, and I go, okay, do you have it? Well, what I think now, then we let go, and that guy looks to me, and I mean, it was like I was almost doubled over, and the other guy then was like this, and it seemed like he was going to grab me, and Kendra's not knowing because I'm not letting out any pain, pulled into the elevator, and I got upstairs, and I'm buckled over, and she said, what's up? I said, that guy tried to hurt me. I didn't know what he was doing. But I think what he was doing, if I would have reacted, I think they were videotaping. I think it was a setup. Like if I'd either fought back, and they would have said, look at Mike Lindell does with pictures. Yeah. Or if I'd have turned, there was something else that he might have done. Sure. And I think that was, but it was so bad. It was, I can still feel it now. The police came and they, but I was like, and then I'm thinking that, and then someone knocks on my window this morning because I'm leaving. And it's a guy, and I didn't feel good there. And he goes like this, and there's a badge, and I'm going, no, and and he walks away. Now that's weird too. Yeah.
Okay, so what had happened with this attack? This is a very sophisticated Antifa operation. If you follow any of the undercover work on Antifa, one of the things Antifa does is they don't just go out and attack people all the time. They do that, but what they do more often than that is they go out and instigate a reaction to try to get someone to appear to attack them first so that they get a video of this. So what had happened is these two guys targeted Mike Lindell. It wasn't an attack like they jumped him. The one guy goes to take a picture with him. The other guy's got his camera out filming it, and the guy that's got his arm around Mike Lindell sticks his thumb deep inside his ribs, causing excruciating pain, to try to get Mike Lindell to react and punch him so that they would have a video that showed Mike Lindell for no reason just attacked a man. And now that's not going to happen in the future because he's taken some precautions. But that is a very, very sophisticated operation that went on there. Now, you liberals out there, we were talking today that liberal trolls haven't been calling in. And I just want to tell you, we've had one calling this in the last bit of time, and They have called, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm going to the next. And it goes on. They've called about 45 times in the last 30 minutes or so. So there are liberals out there trolling and calling and doing all kinds of activities and things. You know, it's amazing to me. I don't know what you make of it, Steve. Here you got a total collapse of Afghanistan. Why are they mad at us? I don't know. I mean, it seems like they should be a little more angry at Biden for screwing things up for them. All right, listen. Our number, if you can get through, is 1-888-GO-CANE. 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. See, there you go. That was 43 times, I guess it was. So I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to screen the calls from this point forward if I don't fall over from a heart attack with my blood pressure, which is really through the freaking roof right now. My heart is beating through my chest, Steve, a mile a minute. So I could use a little help to get through the next 23 minutes is what I'm trying to tell you. But, you know, this situation in Iraq is in my opinion, the biggest American failure, embarrassment, and human rights situation we've ever encountered. Not just in the modern era. I'm talking about period. I don't think we've seen anything like this ever, ever, ever at this level. You know, the stories that are going on this week. I was a couple days ago when they had the film that you saw them film at the airport, Steve, with all the guys running by the plane. There were no women there. It was just men. And the reason for that is obviously that the Taliban have captured the women. And there were reports, you know, there was an idiot CNN reporter 2 days ago was reporting from Kabul. She's in a burqa and she's covering the Taliban forces. And she said that they're spouting off anti-American things, but at the same time, they're friendly. The CNN crew was attacked, and one of their people was pistol whipped yesterday. A CNN crew was pistol whipped yesterday by the Taliban forces. And there's been a change in what's going on in Afghanistan in the last 24 hours of hardcore major violence. And one of the things that they've never dealt with before, that the Democrats, that they're dealing with now, is when Vietnam happened, they just had like 1 or 2 cameras from the network news. There was no Twitter, there was no live streaming, there was no internet. So all of these things that we normally would not see were seen in large numbers, you know, with everyone that's filming over there on their social media. And what has happened with Twitter is insanity. So Twitter, of course, everyone knows they banned Trump, but the Taliban are still on Twitter, including the Taliban spokesperson. And Twitter released a statement yesterday saying they'll remain on Twitter as long as they don't get too violent. We're in another world right now. All right, our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE1. We'll take a quick break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Yeah, I thought after about 56 calls that you must have something important to say. Yeah. Well, this is what I'm going to tell you. Don't call anymore. Okay. I wanted to know I had his number.
Near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers and Mike Lindell. He's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at mypillow.com with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow Slippers.
Brian, I have the MyPillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined ones.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So you're wearing the MyPillow Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow pillow and the MyPillow mattress topper and the.
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
My wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code Kane at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows with it. So it's great. Well, that's awesome. Order your MyPillow Slippers 40% off with the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com. Or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane here. So during the break, you guys on YouTube, you got to see this. I took a break a little unscheduled. The person who called 56 times in the last hour, I called them during the break. I did. Well, I figured since they called 56 times, well, it may have been more. I stopped counting. That they must have had something really important to say. And basically what they had to say is, how the F did you get a hold of me, is basically what they say. But I call... I don't call, sometimes I do that. I will call, sometimes I will call people like that at home. I usually do it after the show. But this person, when I counted up to 56, I was like, they must, whatever they have to say must be really good. They called 56 times and less than an hour. It's got to be good, but apparently it was not, because I haven't heard back from them since then. But they were there. I think they're still in shock that yes, I what do you think, you're playing with children here? I tell you. Oh my goodness. No, this is the biggest American I think before this, the biggest military failure of recent times, the last one was probably the Black Hawk Down incident. But what's different between Black Hawk Down and what's going on here is no American service personnel have died. And what the Biden administration is doing right now is lying to us. Okay? They're holding the airport. They have the army at the airport, but it's surrounded by the Taliban, so no one can get to the airport. 40,000 Americans are being held hostage behind enemy lines because the Taliban's perimeter around the airport. The reason I think that they haven't gone to rescue the Americans is they're afraid of a Black Hawk Down incident. They don't want any. They're afraid that there'll be an American soldier killed. And remember that when they were dragging the American soldiers dead through the streets, Steve? Remember that? It was awful. And Biden and the White House aren't going in to save the American citizens because they're afraid of that optic coming out. All these people care about is optics and narratives. And that's no one can convince me that the Brits are sending in special forces behind Taliban lines and rescuing their citizens. No one can tell me that we can't do the same thing. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But the army, if you didn't see the press conference yesterday with the secretary. That was scary. That was scary, Steve. That press conference with the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. They're checked out. They don't know what the hell's going on, and both of them are over their heads. And the Secretary of Defense, a very sad thing about him. Earlier this week on Monday, Greg Kelly on Newsmax TV played some interviews with him from a few months ago when he was obsessed. He was talking about critical race theory, the Secretary of Defense, because he's black and he was a general, and he told this story that he probably tells everywhere he goes. He said, I would go into a restaurant with my staff, we would be out of uniform, and people in the restaurant would think some of my staff were the general. And he thinks that's because he's black. No, we know black people can be generals. Colin Powell is very well known. But I think after I saw this press conference yesterday, people thought he was not the commanding general when he was out of uniform, because he doesn't behave like a general. He behaved like it's like they put me in charge of the military. I don't know what to do. They asked him a question. He looked left and right for answers for help from his subordinates. He is where he is because he's an affirmative action guy, because he's black. And he talked about in this interview, ever since he became a lieutenant colonel, that people would question, whether he earned his spot. Well, yesterday he showed that he never did earn his spot. Now listen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, it'll be time for the Gold Report, okay? We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be back right after this very, very quick break.
Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
Steve Kane Show.
To save up to 50%
oh, wait, I got you.
On your insulation and radiant barrier, and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on.
All right, welcome back, and it is time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with this morning's Gold Report. William Youngerman, good morning. Good. How are the metals looking today?
Metals are looking still stable around that price they've been holding. Gold right around 1787. Yesterday it closed at 1787.70. That was up $1.60 after trading in a range of $1,737 to $1,795. The resistance still at the $1,800 number. Silver closed down yesterday 17 cents at $23.46 the ounce, while platinum was up $2 at $992. And palladium was down $68 at $23.55. This morning we see gold down about 90 cents right now at $17.87.20. We've been $10 lower and $5 higher. Silver right now down 6 cents at $23.40 the ounce. Platinum down $32 at $960. And palladium down $95 at $2,260. So the feared metals are holding up good. Gold being the real go-to metal for protecting your assets, and it's the only real money left on planet Earth, and it has been for 5,000 years. So you gotta take advantage of any dips that we see in this metal and add to your portfolio.
Yeah, and I saw a documentary on Fort Knox, and they said they don't let cameras in the vault to show you the gold, and I don't think they got gold in there anymore. I think they used to a long time ago. But I'll tell you this: when you go to William Youngerman, all the metals are right there on the spot for immediate delivery. William Youngerman's shop opens up weekdays at 10 a.m. You can give them a call at 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Find them online at williamyoungerman.com and stop right in, located right here in Boca Raton. The address 150 East Palmetto Park Road. That's immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, directly across from the bank lobby. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. You too. Take care. Take care. Yeah, some always good news from the metals. What I was talking about before the break, the Biden administration, whoever's running the show, Okay, they had the clock set at the wrong time, off by an hour, in the Situation Room. And he's supposed to be in charge of the situation. They have made a decision to let those tens of thousands of Americans be held hostage behind enemy lines because they're afraid of an American soldier getting killed rescuing them. That's the only conclusion I can make, because this story of the Brits sending in their special forces to get their citizens, now they probably have fewer people than we do, but they're still doing it. That tells me that the capability is there. It's just Biden is afraid to do it. And this crap that he pulled yesterday by you know what he did? He called up the school board of Broward County and another county. I don't know what the other one was, but another Democrat county, and told them to defy DeSantis, and told them that if DeSantis withholds their pay, that he'll pay them. Biden, well, not personally, of course. He wouldn't. Joe's not going to use his own money, but he would pay them through the American Rescue Plan. So the White House did this entire move yesterday to try to pick this fight with DeSantis in Florida to get a new media narrative going, to get it off Afghanistan. In fact, he came out and talked to the press and didn't even mention Afghanistan. So they've decided that, boom, that's it. You know, if you're on your own. Fox had a guy on last night. I don't know if you saw this, Steve. They had a guy on last night, an American in Afghanistan, who's stuck. He's trapped and he can't get to the airport. You know, and he was interviewed live on Fox. I mean, I couldn't believe. You know, see, the technology that exists today wasn't there during these other disasters that presidents have been in, and we're seeing and hearing things that a few years ago you wouldn't have been able to see or hear because of the internet technology. And the Taliban is not going to knock out the internet because they're using it effectively, being on Twitter. I know. It's frightening. It's frightening. And I watched the press conference yesterday with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the Secretary of Defense, and there were a couple of reporters that asked some difficult questions, but they didn't do any follow-ups. If I were asking a question of them, have you just lost a war that we won in Afghanistan already? You know, because it looks that way to me. And, you know, President Trump had that incredible interview with Hannity about the situation in Afghanistan the other night. Oh, it didn't get a lot of play yesterday. I thought that I played it yesterday twice. The significant parts where Hannity wasn't talking, but yeah, exactly. But I was very, very surprised that wasn't like the talk of the nation yesterday, because that Trump interview was amazing. It was really amazing, and he pointed out, he went through what his plan was in Afghanistan, what he was, and it was an amazing interview, and it really faded away. I didn't hear. Well, this operation wouldn't have happened if he was president, you know. So no, he didn't plan for this because there wouldn't have been a collapse. But Biden though yesterday, this Stephanopoulos interview is going to get a lot of play today. That clip I played is just the preview clip that ABC released. The whole thing's going to be out today. And the interview was bad. And everything that's coming out from the insider shows that clip is only the beginning. The press have turned on Biden, and that's the liberal press. And I'm not talking about Fox. So he's lost the liberal press, and he's done. I believe they're working on an exit strategy for him to resign. I really do believe that right now. It's that bad.
A job. It's not.
Yeah. She doesn't want this job. No, there's no way. Not right now. She's screwed. Between the southern border and Afghanistan, I mean, even Trump would have difficulty getting control of things. He would, but even Trump would have difficulty. Kamala, what the hell has she ever done? Now, listen, today at noon on all of our radio stations, don't forget to tune into Richard Pearl on Politics, live at noon weekdays on AM 1470, 95.3 FM, and 96.9 on the FM radio dial. You can also catch Richard Pearl on Politics on the iHeart Radio app, searching for our station call letters WWNN. And his store, Simply Natural, with all the great nutraceutical products that you hear Richard Pearl talk about, is located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University Drive. They're open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m., and you can call the store at 954-741-4045. If you're unable to make it to the store in person, whether you're out of town, out of state, or just another part of town and you don't drive, they'll ship to you as well at Simply Natural. So give them a call, 954-741-4045. Well, we're out of time for today, but we'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'm Brian, Steve here. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. See you then.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires.
Hey guys, before you go, make sure you like the video, all right? I got to take off, but thanks for watching, everyone. Again, like the video. Don't go without liking the video.